So I should have told you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a surprise Tracy Holloway, who's only just found out that we're live on YouTube this time instead of pre-recorded. I don't have a habit of doing this. I'm sorry.
I love surprises, Mark.
Do you? Good.
I'm just having a slight, moment with the surprise, but it's all good. It's all good. Wow, nice. Okay, good morning.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome. Anyway, anybody watching this new to the show, this is the Mark Attwood Show, Adventures of the Cosmic Suits. This is Tracy Holloway. This is our third video together. So make sure you watch the first two before you engage in this one, because then you'll find out all about Tracy's background and history and her incredible light language skills, which we're going to be talking about today, because you asked me to do another show. You must have enjoyed my other show.
Just like to hang out with you, Mark. There's nothing nicer. It's wonderful. Yeah. No.
Hang out in front of 20,000 people.
Yeah, and there's been so much positive response from all your lovely people. I just wanted to say thank you, really, for such wonderful support from you and from all your people, because they're fab, aren't they? You've got a really, really wonderful audience. So thank you.
They're amazing,
everyone.
Yeah, they're all amazing, and they'll all be chatting, so they'll probably be asking questions and stuff. But what is it you want to do today, Tracy?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to share a little bit more with you, because we've got a portal activation coming up. And I know quite a lot of people that listened to watch the other videos, they've signed up for that. And I just thought I'd share a little bit about what's going on, because in the past, when we've done these big networks of light and portal activations, things are incredibly transformational, not just in the moment of the activations, but ongoing. It's as if once we bring those energies in, new things become possible. And so it's about getting people kind of ready for that, which we can talk about and do a little bit of stuff around that in a bit, if you like, if people fancy a light language activation and some other activations today, we can do that. But we're going to be activating a portal for sacred sovereignty, very much needed in the here and now. It will bring in the highest frequencies of information around that we can then embody, that we can then bring that energy transmission into our bodies and into our lives, so as we can walk that talk and embody it as a way of being. And so rather than things being like a good idea and something we'd like to do, we can actually receive the information transmissions through portals of the highest vibration that really gives us a sense of what we're aiming for. So as we can pattern match our energy or the environmental energy together and start to kind of be more integrated in the way that we are, the way we behave, our attitudes. And so, so we're going to be doing that. We will be doing a worldwide activation for that. The portal will open, and we will offer anyone that wants to be on board with that the opportunity to come and be part of it in whatever way works for them. And so it's on July the 5th, and that's a Monday, and the ceremony will be going on at 3:00. Now, the audio transmission from that will be available then. And so I will do the opening of the portal, the light language activations, various other activations to open the earth grids and the stargates, line everything up, get everyone tuned in for that. And then we will bring in all those beautiful, sparkling new energies. These are new energies, yeah. These are the energies that we need right now. So that's really, really quite exciting. And what we found when we've opened other portals, for example, when we opened the portals for the higher heart frequency, people started to really shift and change. You can know in your mind what you want and what you're trying to achieve, but unless you can really embody these frequencies, it's a little bit like you can feel at odds with yourself. Compassion is a good idea, but you can't quite feel it.
Yeah.
And so the portal activations just open up the space within us to enable the light codes to come in and to start kind of working more purposefully to clear out the shadows, to clear out the density, to clear out the old stuff of the old world, and create a higher vibration of environment in our own bodies. You know, it's all about the environment, whether it's the outer environment or the inner environment. We want it as light and bright and sparkling as we can. We want the old stuff gone, and we want the new higher frequencies of stuff coming in. And so with the heart activation, for example, with the portal that was opened for that, once that was active in quite a larger number of people, it seems to have this effect where it then just transmits to others really, really easily. You find that it kind of transmits through the water, through the environment, through the air, in all these different ways, through energetic transmission. And so now the one that we're working towards, and have been for quite a while now, is the activation of sacred sovereignty. So to really ground that on planet Earth, I think will be pretty amazing. And so what we're calling people to do is to act as conduits for that, to be the grounding rods for that energy as it comes in. And so to do that, we will talk them through a meditation. They'll be completely guided every step of the way. They can tune in from wherever they are in the world. And we really, really want people to do that, as in the more widely spread we can have these anchor points, then the more potential we have for change. And so whether people get called to a sacred site in their local area, you might want to do that, Mark. You've got some amazing sacred sites in Ireland, I know.
Yeah.
But it may be as well that people just get called to be in a special place or somewhere they've never been before, or they may just need to be in their bed. Okay, so it's about following your own intuitive guidance and not to decide too far in advance what you think you should be doing. Okay, you need to come into the heart and be guided, because everything about this kind of new earth vibration is about being able to follow clear inner guidance. And so we need to come into the heart to be able to hear that. Otherwise, all we're doing is just hearing all the programs that we kind of run in the background of our minds.
Wow. This has been a huge time for merging personally programs. And they go so deep, don't they? We don't realize that.
They really do.
Yeah, it's mind blowing how deep they go, because it's like,
So deep.
you know, a year ago I thought I knew everything, and then the more the more you try to discover, the more it just keeps opening up and opening up and opening up. And I think the feedback to our videos has been off the charts, and I know lots of people. We've had people in the comments saying they've been listening to you. You've changed their life. They're listening to you every night, and this is just beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
And you're right, just to what you said there is quite right. This idea of kind of awakening. Okay, so everyone's on a different part of that awakening journey. Okay, and everyone is exactly where they need to be, and it just continues. It just keeps rolling. And we can have these times where we think, I'm awake. I've got it.
Yeah.
I'm really awake now. And then something happens. You go, oh no, now I'm awake. I wasn't awake then. Now I'm really awake. And then something else happens. Oh, now I'm properly awake. This is what those other people meant when I was saying I was awake and we were still at odds with each other, you know. And so it just goes like that. It's kind of like, it's like the opening of a flower. Okay, it just keeps blossoming and blossoming and blossoming. And wherever you are on that path is perfect and right. And so just allow it to unfold like flowers. I mean, you know this from looking at beautiful plants in the garden. They have their own moment of opening. And if you try and if you think, no, I need that to blossom today. I need that open now. I want to smell the fragrance in that flower. I need that and I want that. And so you start pulling at all the petals. Okay, all you're going to end up with is a broken flower.
That's very pertinent for me, because I've had some challenges in the past few weeks. And I learned this phrase about 10 years ago: everything is exactly as it's meant to be. And I was going through some serious challenges then. And I just remember being in the shower going, everything's exactly as it's meant to be. Everything's exactly as it's meant to be. And I was going, no, it fucking isn't. It's really fucking annoying. And it's a real lesson in wisdom to be able to just allow things to happen in their own time, because everything is exactly as it's meant to be.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who will be watching this, and a lot of people in the world who are surrounded by an incredibly low vibrational frequency thoughts and ideas and fear.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this is so important. That's why absolutely anytime you want to do this, we do this anytime you want, because every time I speak to you, I float away. I feel amazing. And I know that everybody else does too. So I feel very blessed to have this connection, to be able to do this again, which is great. So thank you for that.
And it's wonderful as well, Mark, because as you say things about your own journey, it triggers things that make me go, yeah, of course. And that helps with that conversation that other people can be part of, because we're all the same, we're all the same. We all have parts of ourselves that we'd rather not listen to, and we'd all rather it be really easy, and we all go into denial, and we all get frightened, and we all get anxious, and we all get worried. And so what you were just saying there is really interesting as well, because when we're in that place of the flower, that we really want it to open. And like you were saying, it's just like, you know, on one level that everything has its perfect time to blossom. Okay. Everything has its perfect moment, and everything's perfectly in the flow. But then there's the other part, isn't there? Like you just so beautifully said, that's going, no, that's not right. I want to open now. And so we need to be able to acknowledge those parts of ourselves, not to deny them, not to shove them away, not to treat them as bad or judge them or fear them or worry about them, but actually hold a space for them. Because those trigger moments, those parts and aspects of ourselves, that's where our power lies. There's a huge amount of power that we've lost in the past for all kinds of reasons, in all kinds of ways. And so bit by bit, we're reclaiming all of that power. We're coming back into our center. And so rather than like denying all the bits of ourselves that we don't like, or that aren't lined up with the awakening, or that are being triggered by our families, or are frightened or anxious or overwhelmed, there's a lot of overwhelm right now, we need to hold a space of compassion for those various parts. And there's magic there. There's real magic there. And learning to be in our heart space it's the most powerful place on earth at the moment. And it's a beautiful frequency to be in. And as you practice being in your heart space, and you really feel it, and you really embody it, and you become so familiar with it, that you very easily then start to notice when you're not in it, when you're pulled out of it, when you're triggered, when you're wound up, when something's happened. And so it starts to become like you're in one of two places. You're either running old programming, knee-jerk reactions to all the stuff, the conditioning, which, as you say, runs deep, and it goes right back through our human history. It's in our blood and our bones. And so we're either in that paradigm of programs running, or we're in our heart space. And if we think of it as just we're either in the old world or we're in the new world, then it starts to make much more sense, and it starts to become much more accessible and much more easy. And so everyone at the moment is starting to transition from an old world, from an old paradigm to a new paradigm. Okay. And we're moving from a pre-programmed, conditioned way of being into a sovereign, sacred, heart-centered space where we're connected to guidance that supports us to be unified in our vision and in our way of being. And so that simple, I mean, I say simple, it's not easy. Okay.
I was going to say
it's not easy. Yeah. But it is this simple. We're either running the old programs or in the heart. So the more we spend time consciously coming into the heart space and finding ways to nourish that heart space, heart-centered environment, and we can talk about that anytime, the more we embody that as a way of being, and then the more we recognize the other stuff for what it is. And we have the choice. Then we have the choice. Then we can have our power back because we can see where we are more clearly. And that's a very important thing right now, to find our true power, to anchor it into the earth, and to align ourselves with a guidance system that's going to support us to move through this time.
I was thinking, as you were saying that, about one of my best friends contacted me the first time in 6 months the other day and said, "Hey, how are you?" I said, I'm good, but I don't want to talk to you yet." Because I don't want to fall out with you, because you have a very different view about what's going on in the world to me, and we're just going to fall out, and I don't want to do that. And then I sent him something that I thought that might open him up a bit, and it didn't at all. And I was like, then this has happened. I'm bringing this up because this is happening with lots of people, friends and family. You mentioned it as well. And that's the really tough part for people, is twanging back to that world, because we have to let everything go. We have to let everything go about our own psyche, our own history, individually, collectively. Everything has to be let go of, which is a Taoist principle, isn't it? Let go. Something I've been struggling with for 10 years at least. And that's one of the things that gets deeper and deeper, is the literally everything you have to let go of. You've got the answer. You've already given the answers to that. I'm just sort of trying to relate it to my own daily existence.
We get triggered every day. People are getting triggered left, right, and center at the moment. And the triggering, in a way, though it's not nice when it's happening, it helps us to identify what programs we're running. Okay, so everything in your external reality is a printout of your internal programming.
Can we get that on a t-shirt? Literally print it out.
You can do that. And so, though it's unpleasant, triggering is actually a positive in as much as it's purposeful. Okay, it's not just there to try to wind you up and annoy you and show you that you're still there and still stuck and still going round in circles, because that's how a lot of people feel, that they're just going round and round in circles. And being in that heart space, which I'll keep coming back to, that can really, really be helpful, because the higher frequency of the heart is like a toroidal vortex of energy. So it can help to transmute information. Okay. So if we're in our minds, if we're in our conditioning, all we're just going to do is go round and round and round in more of it, finding more reasons to be annoyed, finding more validation for how we're feeling more judgmental about other people, feeling more self-righteous, feeling more, whatever the triggers are doing for us. If we shift paradigm, if we shift our energy, if we shift ourselves into that heart-centered space, which is a frequency change, okay? It's not a la-la place of, oh, let's all go and be in our hearts. That'll be nice. It's not that, okay? It's a frequency change. And in that new higher frequency, different things are possible, okay? So as we learn to be in that heart space more, we find forgiveness more easy, compassion easier. That can mean that if we go to a family occasion, everyone's always triggered by family, aren't they? Yeah, right. Because we've got so much family conditioning running, okay? Yeah, all our programming that we received whilst we were children is running in the background, unless we've deprogrammed it, unless we've deactivated it, okay, recoded it. And so when we go and spend time with family, we're going to bring up all that stuff. Our inner child is all kind of triggered and all of the stuff. And we have to remember as well that our family are all running their programs. It's all the unresolved history, okay? I talked to someone about this the other day. It's like when someone's pregnant, everyone that they meet, not everyone they meet, I exaggerate, but people they meet suddenly decide that this is the moment to tell this pregnant person about their own horrific birth story.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a good example for you. Okay, so we hold on to these emotional states, sometimes quite traumatic. Using that as an example, if someone's had a traumatic birth experience, and then it's not resolved, and it's just sitting in the background of their mind, and it's in their body. And as soon as they see someone pregnant, it triggers, and before they know it, and it's kind of unconscious. They don't even realize they're doing it. They haven't got that discernment or that censoring that says, actually, this might be inappropriate. There's none of that. They're just speaking from their trauma. Okay. And so when we go to a family event, for example, that happens so much. We haven't seen Uncle John for ages, but now suddenly we're back to being 6 years old again, because the triggering is bringing up the memory, triggering the emotion that's just literally been locked in place, stored since that last occasion when that trigger occurred. And so we're experiencing this all the time. And if we can shift into that heart-centered space, then, I mean, just going into your family environment in your heart will change everything.
Ooh, yeah.
It's as simple as that. Yeah. If you can maintain that heart-centered space whilst you're there, you then become the witness, the observer.
That's my ambition, to be able to do that.
And as you do that, what you actually create is it's like a sacred space, like a portal. It's like an energetic frequency of space that enables the other people's conditioning, the other people's programming, all the history, all the anxiety. It just starts to transmute and change. So the heart gives us the opportunity to hold space for greater change for others. It puts us personally into superposition with ourselves, and then we hold that space for others as well. Now, the higher octave of the heart, this energy that can transmute information, it's literally like that. Or we can do a little thing about it in a moment if you want, if we can actually do an activation, embody that if you like. It's really, really useful. So if you imagine, I think I said to you before, Mark, the way I see the world is just like, or one of the ways I see the world is just as information. Okay. So everyone is full of all their various information running. And rather than judge whether that information is good, bad, purposeful, not, whatever, if you run it through the heart vortex, anything that's old and no use isn't part of the new world, isn't part of where we're shifting to, it can't hold that vibration because it's dense and heavy. It will transmute and change. And so it becomes like a filtering system for moving you from an old paradigm to a new. The portal of the heart is the place where we change. And we literally change. We change information within us. We're going from an old operating system to a new operating system. And the heart is the interface for that.
Okay, let's do it.
Bring it on.
Have it.
Okay, so let's just have a moment about the heart. We can start bringing in the energy for this. You can, it's always good to just put your hands on your heart, because some people say, I don't know how to get into my heart. I don't really know what that means. And so just have that intention that that's what you're doing. Because energy follows that intention. So the more you practice, the more you do it. You can't get it wrong. Okay, with any of this stuff, you can't get it wrong. And the fact that you offer yourself forward for an opportunity for change, that brings your guidance systems in much more closely to support you anyway. And so you'll start to get your own intuitive hits then of like, maybe you could do it like this, or, get more support basically from your own inner guidance. But starting with hands on your heart, I think it's just very physical. It's very like, right, I'm going into my heart. Mm-hmm. And so just imagine that you can just travel in a split second into your heart space. And as you breathe, you can go into your heart. You can just travel through the breath into your heart. And one of the reasons that people enjoy listening to the audio that we produce is it's all of that frequency. And that's why repetition is really, really good, because it holds that heart frequency. And the more you do it, the more you spend time in your heart, and then the more that becomes just natural and easy for you. And that's why we suggest that people repeat, because the more you hold that place, the more information gets transmuted and changed for you. Okay, so you're just breathing into your heart. Sometimes it's useful just to think about something or someone that you love, or even that flower that we were talking about, just opening in your chest. Just breathe into that and just allow that. I'm going to bring in a light language activation just to open the heart and just to bring you a heart blessing today. And then I'll weave in some light coded information as well. In fact, let's do a heart activation. Let's do a higher heart activation today. In fact, let's do it all, Mark. That's what we like, isn't it? Just bring it all on. Bring it all in. Yantantiete atataniya. Tantantienta tatantienta tantantienta. Tantantienta tantantienta tantantienta. Tantantienta tantantienta tantantienta. Tantantienta tantantienta tantantienta. Tiatanite antua. Tantiantianta tantiantianta tantiantianta. Tantiata tatanite tatiantianta. Tatanite tatanite tatiantianta. Tantiante tantiante tantiantianta. Tantiante tantiante tantiantianta. 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 You can imagine your heart energy expanding all around you, creating a space all around you, as if you're in a beautiful bubble of light energy transmission of the heart frequency that's supporting you, nourishing you, bringing you into a space of compassion for yourself, compassion for this awakening journey, and for all the changes you've already made, changes you're making, and changes you're yet to make. And you can imagine the heart as a vortex of energy. And you can put anything into that vortex. You can put your fears into it, your worries into it, your anxieties into it. It's intelligent. It knows exactly what to do. It can transmute that information. It can support you to let go. Sometimes we hold on to stuff because we just don't know where to put it. And so from now on, you have somewhere to put it. You just put it in there, and it's a little bit like a flushing system, a bit like something going down a plug hole. Whatever you place in there, even the big stuff, some of it can go straight away. Some of it is attached to other things that also need to go. And so as you start to use this vortex as a space through which you can transform data, transfer it from one place to another, you'll find that it will start to filter the old from the new. It's a beautiful and intelligent energy that's here to support you, to guide you. But it does need you to be consciously aware of the things that trigger you. And as you're triggered, as you feel that feeling in you of your old programs running, you can remember and you can know that that's old data, old information. Maybe it served you in the past. Maybe it serves you still in some ways. But it may not be helping you to move on from those conditioned responses into a new, awakened place of being. And so you can't put anything in there by mistake. As in, if you put anything in there that you actually need, then it will just come back to you. Okay, so it's very intelligent in how it supports you. But it does need you to start to recognize how triggered you are and to create a heart frequency, a heart space to connect to this vortex and to start being consciously aware of the power you have to say no to the old programming. And as you identify it, as you recognize it, as you see it, and you decide that you no longer want to be it, you now have somewhere for it to go. The power is in the choices that we make. We can choose to run the old programs, or we can choose to hold a space of compassion for ourselves on this journey of change. We can be very invested in the programs that we run. But some of those programs have also helped to keep us safe. And so we can even be afraid to let go of the programs for fear that we may no longer be safe if we don't react and respond in those conditioned ways. And so we're just going to bring in a download of information to support this. We're going to bring in a download of discernment so that we can learn to be more discerning in our lives. We're also going to bring in a download of the highest frequency of truth. And we're going to pour that through our being. And we're going to bring in the highest frequency of compassion too. The highest frequency of forgiveness. The highest frequency of love. And the highest frequency of trust. I'm going to start to integrate these new higher frequencies of supporting information. It can be very useful if you're in your heart space, but your mind's been bothered and worried about information that's just going round in a loop for you. And you can just pour truth in. You need to be in your heart space too, first, to be able to do that. And the one I love the most, which is my go-to really, is grace. I just pour grace into everything all the time. Rather than being triggered by the decisions other people want to make for themselves in their own lives. Triggers that I might otherwise fear or worry about or be concerned would affect me or the wider world. I pour grace in. I pour grace into all of it. I pour grace into the medications. I pour grace into all the toxins, all the poisons, all the things that I sense in the world that are of a lower vibration. I don't try to fix it or change people's opinions, or I just trust. I trust that there's a greater guiding intelligence that's supporting us to transition. And I pour grace in. And grace creates the space that stops me from thinking that I need to change others, that I need to rescue others, that I need to save others. or that I need to do their work for them, or that I need to fear them, or that I need to be angry at them, or that I need to resent them, or that I'm in any way controlled by them. In fact, the way that I reclaim my power is by pouring in grace. Grace is like liquid light. It can travel anywhere. You can pour it into anything, anyone, any place. It's what you do when you trust in the greater flow of life, when you trust in the bigger picture, when you trust that you don't know everything, but that you'd like to serve and be the light. We'll do another light language activation before we finish, but we'll just breathe for a moment and just let that settle in and just be with that energy. There's nothing that you can't put in that heart space. It just does this. It's always doing it. Just taking things. That's what it does. And, you can put yourself in there. I've done that before. Put everyone in there. Put the world in there. Put all the little things in there, big things in there. Yeah. It means that you're no longer a victim of the programming. You've got something new to do. And that's the trick. And the new thing that you do is purposeful. And it starts to shift and change things much more easily. And when you get lots of people together that are sharing that heart energy, things really start to change then. Just one person in a family holding that space will start to change things, or in the work environment or wherever you are. And so you become quite physically a portal of transformation when you really embody this. Things cannot stay the same around you, but you're not in battle with anything or anyone. And so you're not using your own energy. You're not getting exhausted. You're not having to try to work out what's right and what's wrong and judge others, because you trust that everyone is where they need to be right now. It's one of the most interesting things, one of the stages of the awakening, is when people go into division, when they go into duality, when they polarize. And their first emergence, I think is the right word, when you start to emerge from that sleep state into that wake state, and the horror of the realizations of what's gone on, what goes on. It's a shock. It's a real shock, and it triggers historic trauma, and it triggers so much. And what it can make people do is become very, very angry, very, very angry, and pointing the finger. It's them. They're doing it. They're wrong. They did this. It was him. It was her. If they only did this, if they didn't do that. And so what we do at that point is we fragment. We're in the process of fragmentation. All the various parts of us just, and we see everything as separate. And we have all of these stories about that separation. And bit by bit, we work through those stories. And bit by bit, we resolve those stories. And bit by bit, we come into the place of truth. And we realize that we are all one. It's not about them and us. It's about unifying a field of intelligence to support our planet to live as one. That we can live as one with our planet and throughout all dimensions of space. There's a great deal of truth that we're awakening to, but there's also a great deal of illusion. And that's okay. It's a journey. That's why they call it the awakening journey. And no one gets left behind, okay? I receive messages from people sometimes, Mark. They talk about this awakening and this ascension and all of this stuff as if it's a place somewhere else, a bit like heaven, and that some people are going to get in and some people aren't. There's some really odd perceptions or perspectives on what it means. And a lot of people carry a lot of fear that they're not doing enough in their beautifulness, you know, in their efforts, in their trying, in their shadow work, in their resolving, in their coming into being, that they're not doing enough to get there. And it really isn't like that at all. And so we can create ourselves so much heartache and so much pain from not really having that full picture yet. And that full picture can only come in its own sweet time, gently, gently, as those petals open. And we see ourselves, the truth of who we are, the power that we really have, the amazing potential that human beings have and are awakening to. And so, yeah, just be with where you're at and be gentle with everyone else around you. Because believe it or not, they're also playing their part perfectly. Even though your old programming might tell you otherwise. Okay? It's about trust. It's about trust. Should we do another light language activation? Cool. Okay. Tatawana, tatawatanana, tatawatanite ante anoa, tataniante, tataniante, tataniante ante ante. Tantiatana, tatanite antua, tatanite ante ante antua. Tatanite ante, tatanite antewa, tatanite ante ante antua. Tayanie, tayanie, tayanite ante anoa. Tayanie, tayanie, tayanite ante anoa. Tatiante, tatiante, tatiante ante anoa. Tatiante, tatiante, tatiante ante anoa. Tiania toko ta katakiata kitakua. Katakua kanta, kakatuka, kataku katana, kakatu katana a, kakatuka ana kakaka, kakaka, kakaka. Yatayante, yatayinianta, yatayiniata, ya. Yatatiniata, tatiyaya, yatatita, tiyaya. Yatanite, yataniteante, yataniteania, tanayanta. Tayitiana, yatitianta, yatatianianianta, niteana. Tatakite yatua. Yatatite yatanite yatua. Gatatite, kataniteanta, katanitatianititanata. Katantiatanitianta, kataniteatanata intiantaniteata. Cantanite, cantaniteante, cantaniteanianiantaniteawa. Tataniatua, tataniatua, tataniatua tinte cantawana. Katuatana tataya, katukuta tatania, katanata tatanata nata inata. Katanata, katanata, katanata nata ata. Tianieawa. Tianiteawa. Tianite, tianiteante, tianiteante, antiantiantiantiawa. Tatanua tata tata. Tataniantua tata. Tatanianteatuata. Tatiantiatuata. Tatiantuata. And just breathing into your heart space. Just allowing that to come in, to support you, to open and allow the light in. Those little seeds of light, those little seeds of support, those little seeds finding their way into your body, into your mind, into your heart, finding their way to wherever they need to be to support you fully, to be who you came here to be, in your power, in your dignity, in your sovereignty. And so it is. And so it is. Take all the time you need. Allow your eyes to pop open in their own time. As with any transmissions that you receive, sometimes they can just take their own time to work their way through. And your eyes, as they pop open, that means you're kind of done. If you try and force them open before they're done, then you can feel in a neither here nor there place. Not a great place to be. And so close your eyes and then let them open when they're ready. Always a good idea. How you doing, Mark?
Whew, needed that.
Yeah. And when we take time to do it, you know, it only takes a moment, really, that connecting into your heart, but it changes everything. It can change everything. And then we can go into doing deeper work as well, when we've got the time and the space. You know, whether that's listening to a transmission as you go to bed, or just, you know, you noticed you were triggered, but you're in the supermarket. You're going to just walk along, come into your heart space as best you can, but actually you're pretty annoyed right now about such and such, you know. So at some point a little bit later on, hold a space for that, because that's your shadow work. You know, that's the stuff. You don't want to be carrying around all of that stuff. That's what we're learning to let go of. And once you've let go of a certain amount, there becomes like this tipping point, if you like. Once there's a certain amount of the density shifted, then the light comes in more fully, and it kind of just all starts to make sense. It all starts to feel a lot easier in the body, and we don't feel so heavy or toxic or just overwhelmed, or just, you know, it's lighter. It just gets lighter. And then those things that may have triggered us in the past, they're suddenly no longer relevant. Suddenly like, oh, okay, no, I'm all right with that now. Oh, that's okay. They can do what they like, you know? And it's that interesting observation of just like, actually, I'm in quite a different space now. You know, it's always going to those family occasions that you can see how clear you are. That's the ones, or the workspace or whatever it is that usually, you know, brings you to that place of shadow work.
We should get a little Tracy app. That's what we should do.
Seb's had to work out. I might be getting this wrong technically because I have good tech support, don't I? So a lot of people couldn't download stuff to their phone. You know, they're having to play it live, stream it or whatever. So he's put something now on the website so people don't have to do that. I think it's something to do with iPhones. And we weren't supporting iPhones. We didn't want to do that, but we've now worked out a kind of workaround as so as that's possible for people. Because that's the paradigm a lot of people are in, isn't it? But anyway, that listening anytime does really, really help, because it's not particularly the words that I'm saying. Those can be nice for the mind, but it's the frequency, Mark. It's that the more you hold the frequency, or you hold that space for the frequency, the easier everything gets. And the transition initially, what it does is it shows a lot of the work that you need to kind of do, if you like. You remember when we talked about the shadows dancing? Yeah, but you've got a bit more of a kind of tool to work with. Sometimes people get lost in the programming because they literally don't know what to do with it. So once you open that heart vortex, at least you've got somewhere for it to go. It can transmute through then.
Yeah, I like that. I had quite a lot of stuff to throw in there. It's good.
Yeah. And you know, the other interesting thing as well, sometimes what we start to observe is that, like, for example, people will say to me things like, I'm okay, it's my husband. Yeah. You know, I'm sorted. I'm an awakened person, but my husband, oh my goodness, he's so annoying and he's so wrong and he's got all of this going on. And of course, just having that judgment, and I'm not saying that's wrong in itself, because, you know, we're all triggered and stuff. But that's not holding a clear heart space. Okay. And so rather than thinking that we need to change other people, as we start to be the change ourselves, and what I hear from people is, as they shift their perception and start to do things differently, they go, do you know, my husband, he's changed so much. Things that I never thought would shift in him. They just, now whether it's the perception that shifts, so they're no longer bothered by the fact that he's reading the newspaper at the table and grunting about all of the, you know, stuff they don't want to hear about or whatever, and they're trying to be in their light and love. Because people try too hard as well, Mark. They're like, I've got to be light and love. I've got to be light and love. My husband's really annoying me, but I've still got to be light and love. It's not like that.
No.
It's not. Be honest in your self-inquiry. The first step is self-honesty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yes, I'm trying to be in this light place, but sheesh, my husband's really bugging me right now. And then you can hold a space for that. And then you can start to see what's really, really, really going on. We can do another session around that sometime, about holding the space and how to do that shadow work and how that works, and just give a few more useful little tips to help people, to support people on their way, if they feel that would be a good thing.
Oh, definitely. I mean, one of my weaknesses in the past was, you know, emails or, you know, social media or whatever. And this morning, I was doing it this morning. I was in the middle of writing, and this, and another thing, and another thing. No, I'm not going to do it.
Yes. Wow, that's power. That is power.
Deleted it.
Yeah, because all those interactions we have, particularly on social media as well, they all have energy hooks.
Yeah.
And there are huge fields of information, particularly at the moment, that are very, very dense and very, very heavy, all of these rabbit holes and stuff. and you can be sucked down into those, and it doesn't stay personal. It's actually, you then become part of a collective field of information which you become entangled with. And so it actually not only lowers your vibration, it then hooks in to other thought forms, which then become part of your own thinking and start to become part of your own thought forms. And it's tricky to discern between what you're really thinking and the energy fields you've hooked into because you've engaged in power battles with them. So when you decide not to engage in those power battles, you become empowered. So as you deleted that, you are kind of symbolically, but actually energetically as well, disconnecting from that entanglement that was triggered. You're choosing a different road. You're choosing a different option. And that's where we bring in our true power through the choices that we make from a different perspective. Well done. It's easy to want to rant at everyone sometimes, isn't it?
Occasionally.
So it's all about the triggers right now for everybody. Okay, so that's that. Just to acknowledge that what's happening is that we're being triggered left, right, and center, and what we need to do is to learn how to deal with that rather than just engaging with it in self-destructive ways that either are self-destructive to our own bodies. Because I think I said to you on one of your other shows, Mark, if we hold resentment and anger and fear and all of these low vibrational frequencies in our organs, in our tissues, in our bodies, then that's what creates disease.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't want to be doing that. Yeah, we want to transmute and change all of that because it just does not serve the health of the body and it doesn't serve us to be in balance at all. And so, we can recognize that we are angry, but we need to let it go. We can recognize that we feel resentment and we can let that go. We might also recognize that resentment comes back through this thread, right back through history. And there's a whole load of stuff that needs shifting with that. And that's how we get to deprogram at a much deeper collective and ancestral level. We can talk about that some other time if that's useful for you all.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm reverberating again. I told you. Tell Seb it's too bloody loud.
Oh, is it? Sorry. Okay.
No. Your voice. That's great.
We didn't quite get the mic set up, did we, today properly? And then Mark said we're on live.
But the time is now.
The time is now. It really, really is. It really is. And that those subtle changes in energy, in frequency, in perception can make all the difference to day-to-day life. The things that we do to nurture ourselves through this crazy time, rather than engaging in battles, go and engage with nature. Yeah, go and engage with places and people that support you to feel at one and at peace with the world. And that helps to create these stronger fields of information. Like I was saying with the social media and some of the angst that can go on amongst people. Those are fields of information. There are also morphogenetic fields of information of a higher vibration. And what we're learning to do is to access these higher vibrations of coded information that exist in fields of kind of, it's just information really. And so if we're engaged too much with the lower stuff, we don't get these opportunities to be in the higher stuff. And so being in nature, being around people that help us to feel more positive, wires in, neurologically starts to wire in these higher fields of information. And then they become the thought forms that serve us and also help us to navigate our way to be in the right places at the right time with the right people doing the right thing. We won't hear how to do that in the other paradigm, in the old paradigm. And so we're hooking up, if you like, to a new navigation system. And that navigation system is centered in the heart. And then it has these kind of branches, if you like a tree, neural pathways that we're connecting to higher information to support us to be much more intuitive and much more whole in how we operate.
Yeah. This is the time of intuition. Right, I'm gonna have to go and blow my nose now. Thanks, Tracy.
So if people want to join us on the July the 5th, then we're going to be we're going to actually be at Glastonbury tour doing the ceremony. Okay, anyone can come along there, but you need to download the audio because you'll need your headset. Okay.
What date is it?
July the 5th.
What day is that?
Monday.
I think I'm there. I think I'm in England.
Just gets better and better.
I might be able to be there. Oh my God! Didn't realize. Anyway, brilliant.
Everything lines up as it's meant to, isn't it? So for people that want to be there, you need to download ahead of time because I don't want loads of Wi-Fi EMF stuff going on up there, okay? Because we're working with energies. It's really important, okay? So plus we don't know whether that will even work for people. So make sure you've downloaded. There's some light coded activation. I will be doing that live as well. Okay, but so as people are, people are able to hear from a distance and all this kind of stuff, we've got you covered. So basically, there will be a little bit of me doing stuff live there. I'll be doing all the energy work live there. Okay, and then we've got a pre-recorded meditation to help you access everything that we're doing, and then there's a dance and some music. And we're going to embody that, really bring it through the body, really shake out that old stuff that we don't want and just make space for the new sacred sovereignty codes to come into the body. And then there's a little bit of stuff at the end and some activations for the new earth grid, for the stargates. We'll line all that up. There's quite a lot going on, but basically all you need to do is make sure you've got your audio on from anywhere in the world. Okay, I don't know how much room we're going to have at Glastonbury for people to come, but if people want to come, just show up. If you feel called, do it. Okay, but not everyone will feel called, so honor that and honor where it is you are called to. And if that's your bed, then do that, because some really deep and powerful work can go on at these times, and you might just need to be in that kind of space. But you might, like I said earlier, you might get called to somewhere else. You might just get called to be barefoot in your own garden. Who knows? You might feel like you want to be with people, but you might want to do it solo. Whatever works for you. But if it resonates with you and you want to be part of this network of light, so we're creating a global network of light around the planet on July the 5th. Everyone that's part of that also has all of their guiding networks and councils and multi-dimensional guides and helpers, invisible teams and stuff that work with them. So we're like the anchor points for all of that really powerful, potent, high frequency work that's going on that we don't really understand, but we trust that there's a bigger picture unfolding. But we are able to be conduits as the new energies come in, and we can help to ground that. And so that's the network of light that we're going to create. So whether you're there physically with us or whether you're just wherever you are, please around the world, plug in. And if you don't plug in at the exact time, it doesn't matter. There's no such thing as time in the way that we're working. So there's a replay available whenever you feel called to, or you can, or it's possible, then just do it then. Even if it's sometime in the future, doesn't matter. Yeah, you can go back and you can do the other portal activations that we've done from the heart in the past, and dignity and different things, and you can also access those any time and embody those. Is there anything else about that, Mark, I need to say? I don't know, really. I don't know if that's pretty much it.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, either download it if you're coming, or just be with it wherever you are. I think that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah. All it's that bloody. Can you hear it?
Sorry, Mark.
That's right. All there's left to say is, if anybody's watching this that's not seen Tracy before, there's 2 other videos on this channel, and in the link below this video and the other 2 is a link where you can go and get Tracy's fast track to
Awakening.
Yeah. And when you get that, you're on Tracy's email list, and then you get emailed these events and everything else. You get all that information and all these free downloads, and that's all I can say, really.
Yeah, it's all on the website. People do need to book, by the way, because we need to be able to send them the audio. So don't just show up because we haven't got that kind of technology available there. We need you to sign up and then just register, and then you get the audio in your inbox to download ahead of time. Or if you're listening from somewhere else in the world, then you get sent the audio file in time for 3 o'clock.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
It is.
I do love a good portal activation. It's one of my favorite parts of my job. I know you think of me as doing light language, whereas for me, it's like, oh, it's all about the portals. I love a good portal activation. Nothing like it. It's a little bit like when the energy comes in, Mark. You know, I kind of see it all coming into people's body and then becoming all crystalline and so beautiful. And then I kind of see it going all into the ground. And then I know that it's working through all the magic of the earth, but mostly it's through the water. It goes in through the water. So I know that when people just go home and have a shower and have a drink and go to the loo, everything is then starting to transmit this frequency out through the waters across the whole planet. Mm-hmm. It's the most beautiful thing because the water connects everything and everyone, and it holds the information. So these are frequencies that have not been on this planet before, not been here. I'm not trying to reclaim something old. Yeah, we're awakening to something new. This is new information. It's so exciting. And so as it comes in and it goes through the water courses, you know, it's, I just love it. I just love that. So yeah, come be part of that.
Yeah, brilliant. We'll see you all there, everybody.
Yay!
Somehow. Wow.
If you're meant to be there, you will be. That's how it works.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Tracy.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
My pleasure. Stay blessed.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, nice.
Bye, everyone.
Yay. Thank you. Bye.